Have you been exposing your photos wrong all this time? Just setting the light meter to 0 might not be the right move. Discover the secret to perfect exposure. Hi there, I'm Rich Dyson from Edinburgh Photography Workshop. Welcome to Coffee Break Photography. Every week I dive into a photography topic that's perfect to explore during your coffee or tea break. And when I'm not busy shooting or editing, I love catching up on your comments, so feel free to leave one. I do my best to reply to everyone. This week I'm going to talk about an alternative way of measuring light when taking photos. If you're used to exposing your pictures manually, then you've probably been setting the light meter so the indicator is set to 0. If the scene is well lit and there's a balance between the sky and ground, the resulting image was probably good in terms of exposure. However, was it as good as it could have been? To understand that, we need to introduce the concept of a histogram. In most editing software, a histogram displays the distribution of data in a photo from pure black on the left to pure white on the right. Starting from the top left pixel, we plot each pixel's brightness level on the x-axis of the graph. If a brightness level is repeated, we stack the new pixel on top of the previous one, increasing the height of the y-axis. By the time we reach the bottom right pixel, we've completed the histogram. Most cameras display a histogram when viewing a picture. Refer to your manual to find it on your camera. And some cameras also show a histogram while shooting, and this will make the technique I'm going to show you easier and faster. Again, you can look in your manual to see if your camera has this feature. I'm about to shoot this scene of the iconic Forth Bridge. You can see that the light meter is set to 0. So let's take the shot and then have a look at the photo. The histogram's looking great with all the data nicely between the edges and no clipping. Clipping happens when the data spikes at the far left or right, making it tough for editing software to get any usable info. Want better photo edits? Steer clear of clipped data. Well, as I say, the histogram looks pretty good, but it can definitely be improved. See how there's a bit of empty space over on the highlight side? That's what we're aiming to fix, and to do this I'm going to let more light into the camera. In this case I'll slow down the shutter speed, and as I adjust the shutter you'll notice the histogram gradually shifting to the right. I've kept going until it just touches the edge on the right, and this technique is called expose to the right. So let's take another shot and see what happens. Well, when we look at the histogram of this second photo, you can see that the gap has been filled and the photo looks generally brighter than the previous one. The key thing though is that none of the data is clipped. So why does this even matter? Well, it all comes down to a couple of linked reasons. Let's take a look at the file sizes for the two photos. The first one, taken with the light meter set to 0, has a file size of 47.5 megabytes. Now compare that to the second photo. Its file size has increased to 50 megabytes. That's an increase of about 2%. So what's causing this difference? Well, let's break it down simply. Imagine the histogram divided into 10 equal parts, or deciles if you want to sound fancy. The decile on the far right holds a large chunk, half of all the image's data. And the next section grabs 50% of what's left, and so on, all the way to the left-hand decile, which barely holds anything. So here's the deal. If we gently shift the data towards the right without letting anything clip, we end up packing more data into the image file. And more data means we've got a lot more to work with when it's time to edit. Makes sense, right? Well, another great advantage of exposing to the right comes down to how data is spread out in your photo. You see, there's not much data on the left side of the histogram, and that often leads to more noise or grain in the shadow areas. And by shifting more of the data to the right when you take the shot, you reduce that noise, making your shadow areas cleaner and sharper. It's a win for your editing process there too. So let's head back to the studio where I'll walk you through how I polish up these photos. Here's the first image. Remember, it was taken with the light meter set to 0. And now to the second image where we exposed to the right, we had an extra 2/3 of a stop. Well, let's get into the editing process. I'll use the exposure slider to pull back that extra 2/3 of a stop so it matches the look of the first photo. But here's the interesting part. Take a closer look at the shadow areas in both shots. You'll notice that the shadows in the image exposed to the right are much cleaner and better in quality compared to the one with the light meter at 0. Pretty cool, right? Well, I'll apply a few more tweaks to the second photo to add a little more punch, and you can see we have a great looking shot with the best quality possible in the shadow areas. Now, I know this exposed to the right technique isn't always practical, especially when you're shooting fast moving subjects or dealing with constantly changing light. But when the conditions are right, it's a game changer for improving your photo quality. What do you think about this method? Have you tried it before? If you have, I'd love to hear your experiences. Share them in the comments section below. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, why not give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends? It helps more people discover it. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, it's right there. I also send out a monthly newsletter packed with photography tips, updates and exclusive offers. You can join by scanning this QR code, it's super easy. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'm Rich Dyson from Edinburgh Photography Workshop, and this has been Coffee Break Photography. See you next time.